Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I am Dave.
I'm Ron.
And Ron, we got episode 131 today.
Isn't that some sort of junior college age alcoholic drink when you can't drink 151, but when you need to get tipsy in a hurry?
There might be a 131. I don't know. I don't follow all that stuff anymore.
It's well be. You know, I was talking with someone this morning about PBR.
Oh, wow, yeah.
When you and I were kids, that was a grandpa beer. That's the stuff that you would watch on the fights on the weekend. It'd be Pabst Blue Ribbon boxing. And now it's kind of passed our generation completely by, and it's now the choice of for college-age kids everywhere because it's so cheap.
Yeah, it's making a comeback. Well, I think back in the day, we used to buy, like, Natural Light.
Oh, you still see that on the sidewalk here in town.
Keystone, and there's a few like that. Like when we were really broke, we would scrounge together $3 or $4 and get a 12-pack of that, and it was bad. In fact, I remember when I was in my band. Where am I here? Here we go. Let's go back in time there.
I'll take door number 1, Davey.
We used to buy really cheap beer as a joke and bring it to band practice. And it was just like
that's the whole point.
It was the running joke. Like we would go into, there was a store up here called Cappy's. It was a big liquor store chain up here. And they would have these ridiculous beers. And we would find one. And it was like, this one has won all kinds of awards. I'm like, I never heard of it. And we would get it. It would be horrible. But it was a running joke for the longest time.
Award-winning grandpa beer. And no, we had the liquor store in town moved when I was 22 or just turned 21 and became legal. And yes, I'd, find whatever the cheap-ass Molson or product or whatever and get my 6-pack that would last me a while. But I could never afford to buy a bottle of something at the liquor store. But I could buy the samples.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd get the $3 bottle of 5 o'clock vodka. Stick it. Yeah, Sarah, my wife is just like, ew. Yeah, exactly right. Stick it in the freezer. And so I had the beginnings of a liquor cabinet at 22. It cost me all of $8, and I live by myself, so no one else was going to drink it.
I think there was a beer I picked up called Little Kings. It was called Little Kings. I've never heard of it. And it was like award winning. It's won all these awards. I was like, so I brought like the 12-pack. It was like, and no one drank it. It was that bad. And then the singer one, we brought some beer called Burger Beer. Burger Beer. Never heard of it.
I think I've heard of that one, but
and that was pretty bad too. And when I used to go clubbing, there was a place locally here that we would go to, and they would have Killian's Red specials.
Ooh,
yeah. You can, it was like $1.99 for a huge 20-ounce glass of Killian's Red.
Wow.
So for if they're $2 each, I could get 5 of them, right? Or 10 of them for $20. So if I got 10 of them and they were 20 ounces, I got 200 ounces of beer for $20. That wasn't a bad deal.
Bad deal.
It was terrible beer, but
I know close to check day, because I didn't drink of the American cheapy beers, but I watched Hockey Night in Canada, and so all those ads for Molson, certainly rang true, and so you could still find it in the stores then. You can't find it now. And Molson Export, Molson Red.
I still think the best beer that I've ever had in my entire life was up in Montreal. We had a tournament up there, and I don't know what year it was, 1995 or something like that. We were going to play a hockey tournament. And after the game, they had on draft, I think it was Labatt's Blue.
Oh, their beers are so different. Well, Blue or 50?
No, I think it was Labatt's Blue on draft. And it just, to me, was the best tasting beer I ever had anywhere. And I remember buying it when I come home. So, I need to get some of that, when I get home. And it wasn't the same as it was up there.
Canadian version of their domestics are much different from what they import.
It was so good. I just remember it's like, wow, it was so smooth. And we just, for hours after the game, we sat there just going back and getting picture after picture. I was like, this is the best beer I've ever had,
So, yes.
So anyway, getting off of beer and getting back to games, let me see. First we'll start off with ways to get a hold of us. The website, digitaltodice.com, that's where we park all the shows over on Spreaker, 978-751-DICE. 978-751-3423 is the text line. Email digitaltodice@yahoo.com. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, we are Digital to Dice over on Patreon. And we want to thank again all of our Patreon supporters that have helping us keep the show going. Today's topic, we're going to talk about stocking up on a sale. And that kind of happened this week when Downey released their Easter sale.
They do an annual Easter sale.
And yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's an odd holiday to have a sale, but you think Black Friday and Christmas, maybe July 4th. But I guess having a spring sale at Easter would be a good time to do that. And I don't know how many places do that, but Downey does do that. And I caught wind of that, and I was like, oh, I can't forget to go and check out the Downey sale. And then I got the itch to play a bunch of Downey games. And, if you put in the code Easter and it's 20% off through Easter, that's a pretty good deal, 20% off.
That's a very good deal, yes.
And so I started going through my wish list of things I wanted to get, and we talked offline a bunch of stuff. So we're going to talk about stocking up on a sale in today's show.
And the PDFs are instantaneous, or did you have to wait till?
Oh, no, boom! You pay and you get it. In fact, I had the PDFs before I even got the notification that I made the payment on my phone. That was kind of how fast it was.
Nice! Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll talk about some of that stuff there and the whole bit on today's show. Before we get to what we're playing, there was a couple things I wanted to bring up. One was the Downey Easter sale. I forgot to bring that up on the last show. And also, Solitaire Pro Football released the 1973 season, and also they updated their Super Bowl teams. So,
so you get the set. You get every Super Bowl team ever.
Yeah,
all 100.
I believe so. Yeah, and so I believe that they did that there. So tell the wife bye. Tell the wife bye.
Yes. Bye, darling.
She always has to get on the show some way. She likes to do that.
If you do that, she'll want a royalty.
All right. Yeah. So we'll have to cut that out.
So we do that when I cook on Friday nights. It's either, Burger King or McDonald's.
It kind of sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown. Wah, wah, wah,
I was wondering, yeah.
But anyway, so so Solitaire Pro Football, they got the 1973 set, and they've updated the Super Bowl set. So solitaireproffootball.com. So I want to get to
some people who will say, and personally, it's not my area of interest in football, that the 73 Dolphins, who lost one game, I think they went 13-1, and repeated as champions. They beat Dallas, I think, that year in the Super Bowl. Were a better team than the 72 team that went undefeated. Now, the only reason the defense was just as good, the only thing I can think of reasoning for that would be that Bob Gracie was healthy the entire year. And remember, it was Earl Morrall that was the quarterback most of the season, perfect year. Of course, they ran the ball 80 times a game, so it didn't really matter, but just food for thought.
Okay, interesting. Let's see here. So, what do you see? We get into what we'll play already. We talked about the weather offline. We talked about there's a huge snowstorm in this country that not here, but I read in the Midwest that the miles and miles of highway was shut down. Here we are, almost tax day, and we got snowstorms wiping out.
It's supposed to rain here in Burlington until Friday.
Oh boy, really? And we got Red Sox opening day coming up in Boston, right?
Yeah, you'll be able to hear the Jets leave here.
I could never figure out opening day and the first game of the season. They always play in Cleveland and Cincinnati and Minnesota. Well, Minnesota might be indoors now. I don't remember, but it was
outside.
But I remember all these games were getting Baltimore, all getting snowed out in early April. It's like, why do you do this every year? Why do you start in the cold weather cities in the beginning of April? Start down on the warm weather places, which aren't going to get snowed out, and then come back up north. I could never figure it out.
Problem is, if you go out west, I remember one year they started out in California. And it's opening day. It's spring, and then you got to wait till 10:30 for the first pitch because we have to introduce everybody and their brothers on there. And so, okay, I watched the first inning. Congratulations, my streak of watching opening day continues, or Tampa or whatever. But no, I understand that. Why it should be done that way. There was one year when I was a kid. I think it was 81. So it would have been 9.
They're coming to get you.
I'm a bad boy. And
well, you got all the sound effects today, huh?
my window's open. It's nice at 62 degrees out, but it's raining. 81, I think it was. They had 10 inches of snow hit the East Coast on opening day. First whatever weekend of April. And so the Yankees were snowed out. The Red Sox were snowed out. And there was a great article in the New York Post that was a parody. And it was a supposed interview of George Steinbrenner. And it really wasn't. And in this fake interview, Steinbrenner is upset, to say the least, that the Yankees were snowed out and that they could have shoveled around the bases. But yes, we've been asking this for 40 years. Why do we always start and we just start earlier and earlier? If the season had started on time from the lockout, it would have been March 31st.
Yeah.
So
I never could figure that out. So, but anyways, all right. So we got the weather out of the way. So what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I do still need to do the video on Motorsport, but loving that game. I've now done the first 3 rounds of last year's Formula One Grand Prix season, and fans of Max Verstappen will not like me because he crashed out of one race and spun in another. So he's not off to the start he needs if he's going to win the championship like he did in real life. But that game is just really fun. And at some point in the next couple of days, I got to take out the NASCAR module for a spin to see how easy that is. But literally, I timed it from putting things onto the Excel spreadsheet to finish was 50 minutes. And that's getting everything ready. So like 20 minutes to set up and then about 40 minutes to run the race. And it's all done. If you don't want to keep track of standings, you can. If you're not, you're fine. Let's see. My Pro Strategy Football replay, our playoffs continued, and Miami and Pittsburgh. And the computer thought Miami would be a 14-point favorite. Well, Miami won the game, but Pittsburgh intercepted Marino 3 times. And so Pittsburgh actually had the chance to, I think it was a 1-score game at the end. I was surprised. Pittsburgh had the chance with the ball to do something, and Mark Malone turned into Mark Malone. And our resident Steeler fan in the chat, Steeler fan 1933, is going, yep, it's a typical Mark Malone day, especially if he completes under 50% of his passes. And you know what? He completed 45% of his passes in the loss. So that was fun. What else? My baseball replay is not quite at the All-Star game, but we're coming close to it. And again, all 4 teams that won the division in real life are ahead. The big surprise, though, are the Mets. The Mets won 100 games in 85.
Really?
They're 18 and a half games out of first place and right at 500. Now, with half the season to go, you just never know what could happen. They could catch fire. But they are absolutely stunned about how poorly they play. Now, we don't, if you're familiar with how I do replays on my channel, it's usually 3 or 4 games a week, and we bounce from series, to try to give you a good matchup. And I don't know what it is. They're hitting well. Their pitching seems to be okay, not great, but St. Louis pretty much has that division wrapped up. Now, tomorrow on my Thursday on the channel, we're doing the games of the 4th of July, and that was the year, you'll get a kick out of this, Dave. That was the year that the Mets went down to Atlanta to play on the 4th of July. They sat through 2 rain delays and then had a 19-inning game won by Rick Camp, the Braves relief pitcher, in the 19th inning. And so it was a big fireworks night. It was a 7:40 TBS game and all that. And so I don't want to tell all the stories from that because I'm doing that game tomorrow. But so the game ends at like 4:45 in the morning. And Turner, with $20,000 worth of fireworks ready to go, fires them into the twilight or the pre-dawn skies of Atlanta, scaring the bejesus out of half the city. What is going on? Well, the Braves, not only did the Braves win in the week, just as Bryant Gumbel and Jane Pauley were waking up for the Today Show, but he was going to get those fireworks off, by God, if it was the last thing he ever did.
We got to get them off tonight.
So that is the opener of my doubleheader tomorrow. Is the Mets and the Braves? Just one of those memorable. It's like, wait, they played till 4:30 in the morning.
I thought there was a curfew that.
In the American League, there was a curfew. It was a 1 a.m. curfew.
Okay.
You couldn't start an inning after 1 or half inning after 1 o'clock.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So the Red Sox and Yankees came close a couple times, just rainy nights and stuff. Because
is that playoffs is different, or is it just?
Because I don't think there's a curfew in the play. No, there's no curfew in the playoffs. When the Red Sox and Dodgers played that 18-inning game in Los Angeles a few years ago, it got over at 3:30 in the morning here on the East Coast.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think if I played anything else that would be of interest. But nope, I think that's it. So,
do you ever when you're doing your replays and you're doing your streaming there, and you try to pick up the best matchups halfway through the season, do you ever just throw a couple of junk teams on there just to get them airtime? I mean, teams that are pretty much out of it, that are bad, that aren't going to really make any threat for the division title or the wild card, but because I got to think you'd be tired of seeing the same 6 teams over and over and over.
Well, how they schedule them, in the mid '80s, you didn't play your division rivals until June, and so we're finally at the point where you get the Yankees and the Blue Jays and the Cardinals and the Mets and all that, and you want to feature those. I don't intentionally try to get every team, and I know towards the end of the season, if you got someone trying to clinch a spot, you're trying to show the game whether it's against a garbage team or not. We had that a couple years ago in '78, and the Yankees are trying to clinch the division, and Cleveland just would not let them do it. And so generally I try to go with surprises. I know that we're going to go across again, but I don't intentionally throw in a clunker. Depends on the race. And this, because we're back in the 4-division format, there's going to be a race in one of the 4 divisions. However, if you look at the American League West, there's only 9.5 games between top and the bottom. And so, I think over the course of a season, everyone gets on, but at some point you just kind of go, the numbers tell me that to go with, you don't play it's not an album-oriented station. You play Michael Jackson. You don't play a lot of Pink Floyd.
I'm just wondering because I when I'm doing mine, and not that I stream a long replay like yourself, but every now and then when I'm doing something, it's like, I always think like, you want the better teams at the end, but like kind of middle, maybe like the 60-65% point when you kind of know who's where. It's still I think it's still kind of fun to play a couple teams who are out of it just to show them a little bit of love, and just because you're going to be coming heavy down the stretch with all the top dogs.
Well, we're doing the Braves tomorrow, and they won't be there. I don't think I've done the Phillies, and they've been out of it since the first week of the season. I mean, if there's a reason to, what I try to do is I go through usually 2 or 3 weeks in advance and pick out games, and of course they're all subject to change. And try to go with the 2 teams with the most combined wins on a given day is usually who I go with, because, you can't guarantee a great game every time. And yes, if, let's say, the Mariners and the White Sox play a fantastic game and they're both next to last place, it's still a good game, but I don't know the results coming out of it. No one else, does. And so you just don't want to go, okay, especially if you got a better game there.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yep.
We've done we try to get most teams in, and then again down the stretch, because you can't get, it's not, you're not playing the best 3 teams the last 3 weeks of the season. You could be playing all garbage teams and trying to get in the playoffs. And so
that's true. But I always, I like the odd teams, and just to kind of play a game of 2 teams who are out of it, just to kind of give them some love.
That Met Brave game tomorrow is right up your alley. It's a weird circumstance of a game because of the pitcher winning it in the early morning hours of July 5th, and these 2 teams are long gone.
Cool. Let me see. What did I do this week? I've been in a hockey mood. Okay. I played some shootout hockey. I did a WHA doubleheader. I streamed on the channel using the helper, so I was dying to play some hockey. So I played some shootout hockey, just kind of a couple of one-offs. I think I had Winnipeg at Philadelphia, and I think I had New England. The Whalers play somebody too. Cleveland. Cleveland at New England, I think. So Jerry Chivas got in a game there. So
that's back when the Whalers played in Boston, not Hartford, right?
They weren't in Hartford at the time, but they played some in Boston. I don't know if they played it all in Boston. They had a hard time with ice time in Boston because, of course, the Bruins and the whole bit.
Right.
But I know they did play some in Boston. It was really expensive in Boston, too, and they weren't making much money. But they did play some in Boston. More Cleveland Spiders on the channel. What I'm kind of doing is I'm not playing every game, but I'll play the first game of the series is what I'm kind of doing, or the second. I look to see if there's anybody I know that's pitching, and I'll play that game there. So I'm kind of playing one game in a series for the Spiders. I'm playing as the other team. I'm not playing as the Spiders, by the way.
How are you finding that? Because I know you like to play the bad teams, and so now you're getting to.
Well, this is more of a fun thing. Whereas I'm learning more about the Spiders. In fact, I bought the book on the Spiders, and we'll hope and have the author of that book on the show at some point.
Forward to that.
Yeah. So I don't want to play as the Spiders because I did that with Action PC and I got really frustrated because I was losing.
Oh, and they're terrible.
They are. And there's a whole reason for that we'll talk about on a future show. But I'm enjoying just the I'm learning the players on the team. I'm recognizing the names now, and I'm feeling bad for them because they are getting lit up pretty bad. So I think they started 0-6. They might even be 0-7 or 0-8 at this point. I forget where we are. But I'm just playing some Spiders baseball. I just have fun with it, Ron. And I have my fake sponsors. I went back and I looked at all the stuff that was invented in 1898 and 1899, and those are the sponsors for the broadcast. I was calling the Cleveland Spiders radio network until I realized there was no radio in 1898.
Marconi, yeah.
so it's the Cleveland Spiders ticker tape network, and I'm just having fun with it, and I'm not taking it serious, and it's just one of these things that I'm just kind of having some fun with it is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
The Reds aren't doing so good. I lost a double header to the. I was going to say the Oilers, the Astros. So my Reds aren't doing quite well for me, but I'm still playing that mostly offline and having some fun with that. What else did I do? I hit the Downey Easter sale twice already, and that kind of leads us into what we're going to be talking about today. Excuse me, but I picked up a brand new one from Downey called Ultra Quick Baseball.
Oh yeah, you were gonna play that after you got home last night.
Yep, I did. I set it up, and again, it's just a quick play game. The Ultra Quick Baseball is just a very quick game, and I played the World Series 70 and 71. So I have the 70s decade. Of course, I got all the 1800s because I bought that little package there. So I got I like to maybe play all the Spiders games and see how they do with that because it's a quick play game. You could roll the game really fast. So I was playing the 70s World Series, and I believe Baltimore won them both. They beat Cincinnati, and then the next year they beat Pittsburgh. But it's one of these, you have the offense and the defense. You get an adjusted rating. You factor in home field advantage as your final rating. You roll the dice, and that's how many runs you get in the game. If it's tied, you go to a pressure roll, kind of like the final score hockey. And, if neither team gets the pressure roll, then you go into the extra innings and you roll the extra innings there. But it's kind of fun. So Ultra Quick Baseball, I'll be getting some videos up on that pretty soon. I picked up a whole bunch of things from Downey, a lot of hockey. I picked up some Ultra Quick hockey seasons, including all the WHA that they had to offer. And if you bought the whole set of WHA, it came with a season blurb and update. It was really kind of neat. It talked about the season and what happened because things were constantly changing in the WHA.
Yes.
And then it also had the complete schedule. And I thought that was really cool. It's like, holy cow. I got the entire schedule here for the WHA. So if you wanted to play, if I wanted to go back and play any particular team, even the whole season, I don't think I ever would do that. But it was all there.
It's possible that you could do that, though.
No, it's very possible. And what I really liked about that was so it had the schedule, and did it have the results? Yes, it did actually. So it's got the entire schedule and the results of the game. Now it doesn't have any stats, but it'd just be like, Winnipeg 7, Edmonton 3, and Indianapolis 5, Cincinnati 4. So but you do get the schedule, and the results of the schedule are on there. So I thought that they went above and beyond.
Quite cool.
Yeah, they have all the playoffs listed and the award winners. So if you like the WHA, if you buy that Ultra Quick WHA set, which is all the seasons, and I think it was on sale for like $32, I think it was.
Okay.
And that's the one that you have all the players too, so you can get all the stats. You can get goals and goals and assists, I should say. But it does come with blurbs. Now the NHL ones don't, so it's just the WHA. But I thought that was pretty cool. So it's one I was pretty happy that I picked that up. Actually,
doesn't come, the NHL ones don't come with a schedule?
No, it's
really?
it's just the teams. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably because the schedule's probably more readily available, I would think.
That's true.
You just get the teams. Yep, you just get the teams in the NHL.
Okay.
I just checked all that there. Let's see. So, let me see. The Ultra Quick Baseball. I played some.
Oh no, you actually picked up the Final Score Hockey with the team that you did games for.
Oh yeah. So Final Score Hockey, I picked up for $8 on sale. I think it was all the WHA. Final Score, which is it's a little different than Ultra Quick. I did a video on Ultra Quick and Final Score. I compared them; they're really similar, and there's I like both. There's reasons why I would play both, but I picked up So they had what's called Hockey Universe, and it was the 2019-2020 Hockey Universe, and it included 31 leagues, so you could just buy NHL if you wanted to. But with this one here, you got 31 leagues, and I was looking at all the leagues, and one of them was the USPHL. And I was like, is that the league that I think it is? Now, that's the league that I broadcast for. So I bought it. I bought 2019-2020 Universe because I wanted to see what it was. And, lo and behold, I shouldn't say all the teams, but some of the teams that I did play-by-play for were in that, so I could actually play some of the games.
That is so cool.
That was fun. It was, because I don't remember how many I did back in 2019, 2020. I know I did some, but it's just I'm looking at these teams like, yep, I know this team, and now again, it's just teams and a rating. There's no players and there's no individual anything. It's just here's the standings and here's the ratings. Now you can roll dice and play some games. But just the idea that they went all the way down to the league that I broadcast, I thought I was pretty impressed by that.
That's awesome.
That was fun. So that was a good deal. Yes, I think that's all I've been really playing.
Okay.
Just rolling some Ultra Quick Baseball so I could try that out, getting my seasons all printed out for the hockey stuff that I want to do. What I really would like to do with this Ultra Quick Hockey that I got, I picked up 85, 86 NHL, and I'd like to roll the Gretzky games. I want to play all the Edmonton games and then roll for points and see how many points Gretzky can get. How close to 215 points can I get? Now, that's a lot of rolling because you're rolling for every goal and every assist. And I would just do Edmonton, but I think that would be fun. And I also picked up a lot of the Bobby Orr seasons, 69, 70, 71, 72. I think I got, as well as my favorite season, 74, 75. And so I thought about doing that with the Bruins too, and check like Orr and Esposito, see what they would get for points if I rolled the dice on that. Now that's a lot of dice rolling there.
That's a lot of dice rolling.
You figure how many games they play and how many goals. So what do they play? 80 or 82 games, and if they were getting
78, I think for the late 70, 80 for mid 80s, and 78, I think for.
Yeah, so if 85, if I do the Gretzky one at 85, 86, so you said that's what, 82 or 84 games or something like that?
82.
So 82 games, and you got to figure if they were getting 5 goals a game.
Yeah, they were the high fly. I mean,
that's how many rolls that I got to do to figure out his point. So it'll be a longer project.
When you are so good, you get rules changed.
Yeah,
slow you down.
But I think it'd be fun to kind of do that and just add up the points. And I thought about doing Jerry Cheevers for the Cleveland Crusaders in his first year. I don't know if I could find out every game he played in, but I could find out how many games he played and put him in for those games, and just to see how he would do if I rolled the dice and see what his record would be. So a lot of fun things you can do with that. It's a lot of dice rolling, but the games is all resolved pretty quick, and it's just kind of fun. So I did that. I might say I'm tempted to go back one more time to Downey and pick up a few more things, and we'll talk about that when we talk about stocking up on the sale. But yeah, so I'm trying to do some different things here. I was kind of stuck in a Strat PC baseball rut for many weeks. Not that that's a bad thing, but I wanted to move on to some other things, and I finally did that. So anyway, all righty. So should we get to the main segment?
Before we move on, a friend of the show's doesn't have a computer, has an iPad, and is trying to figure out how to convert. He wants to, he can do the quicker play games with that, but he wants to be able to convert PDFs into Excel spreadsheets or something easier so he can write down stuff. And I know that in Windows you can convert PDF into Word files automatically, and from there you can cut and paste into Excel. But I'm not sure what's available, because obviously a Word Office for the iPad is going to be a very different animal from Office from a Mac or a PC. So if anyone's ever tried to do that, leave a comment and let us know how you did that, so he can play, because, printing ink and paper does run into money. I mean, we do save the money with the PDFs, and if that's how I play my PDF games is like that with Excel and Word and all that. So whatever that you could be done to convert the PDF so to make them more accessible on the iPad, we'd like to know.
Okay, yeah, if you know that, yeah. Oh, one other thing I forgot to add too here.
Sure.
Because I'm on my WHA kick, I was talking about. I didn't realize that "Kill the Power Play" by Roberto Schiavini has
does he have all the WHA
all the WHA season, and so I picked those up. I sent him an email, and I got those. And actually, we'll be updating his website shortly. He sent me a couple of things we got to update his website with. And so not only did I pick up all the WHA seasons for "Kill the Power Play," but I also picked up $18.99 for Spring Coming Baseball.
See, that would be good. Would be, yeah.
Now the thing about Spring Coming Baseball for Roberto Schiavini, that's an inning by inning game. That's not a final score type of game. Is that you roll to see how many hits, and then you roll to see how many of those hits become runs. And that's how that game kind of works. And it's an inning by inning game. And there's a optional third die that you can roll to, and that will read off a special chart. And sometimes that'll add or subtract to the runs in an inning or something like that.
It gives you the chance to get more than one or two runs in an inning, because sometimes you get big innings.
Yeah. So there's the wild card die. I think you use it on odd innings, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'll be playing some. I've been dying to play some Roberto Schiavini games, so now I got a couple of seasons there that I can.
There you go.
Do a couple more projects here, so I'll be rolling a lot of dice. Yeah, I like I say, I've been doing a lot of the computer, so now I got to get back to the tabletop, and I think I'll do that. All right. So I think after all that. Yeah, well, we had a lot to talk about here as far as things. So let's get to the topic of the day. So, stocking up on a sale. Now, we've done a show on do sales, make sales, I guess.
Right. We've done.
Does a sale sell games?
And we've done Black Friday, 2 specific Black Friday shows.
Yep.
Or 3 specific that went through all the sales.
Yep.
Heading in the holiday season.
And we talked about what's your price point. What would you be willing to pay for a game? And we talked about, getting value out of a game. And, if I rewind back to that episode real quick, we talked about, if you spend X amount of dollars on a game, how many games you got to play to make that really worth your investment.
Right.
And I think that it's very subjective, because there's some games that you could play 1 or 2 and it's priceless. Those games are priceless. And there's other ones that you're like, I really need to get in a good, 10, 20, 30, 40 games of this to make me feel like I got my money's worth, And we talked a little bit about, how back in the day I I played a lot of like the Call of Duty and how many hours I put into that. So if I was
absolutely,
if I'm putting in, we would play all Saturday nights. So that's got to be 4 hours on a Saturday night. So if I put in 6 or 7 hours a week or 10 hours a week of Call of Duty, and I did that for 10 weeks, that's 100 hours of gameplay. So I easily got my money back playing the Call of Duty games. And so we kind of just compared that to the tabletop games or the computer games that we play as far as Sims. It's like if you played a ton of games, you're going to get your money back. So there was the whole price point thing. But today, we really kind of want to specifically on stocking up when there's a sale. And
you went back and forth on whether or not you want to do the WHA Ultra Quick Hockey, and you asked me, and I said, look, over time, because it's on, it's tempting because that's 20% off, but because it's a printed product, it's not ever going to expire. I mean, these are all things from the past, and so why wouldn't you do it? Even if you only did touch 3 of the 8 seasons or whatever, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to get there. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a good time to, if you're on the fence for something and the price is right.
Oh, the sales definitely push it over the edge. But it was one of these things where I had put, the Ultra Quick Baseball in the cart in a couple of seasons and a couple of Ultra Quick Hockey and a Final Score. And when I added the WHA, I think it was a $40 item, and with 20% off it was $32. And that, that pushes the shopping cart up, $70, $80. Now I'm thinking, do I really want to spend $70 or $80 on this stuff here? And that's where I started to think. And that's we've done shows on that where you put it in the shopping cart and you sit and you tap the desk and you take a walk around and you're like, do I?
Right. I mean,
do I want to pull the? Is this? Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it at this point here? But we went back. I put that in and out of the shopping cart 3 or 4 times, and I think the first set of games I didn't buy it. I bought the Final Score, which was $8, but that doesn't come with individual teams. It's just the ratings. And I picked up a couple other things, and then I come back after work, and we had talked again, and you were like, it's not going to be this cheap again. You get it, you have it. If you play something, you'll probably get some your value out of it. So I did. I pulled the trigger on that, and then I even got a couple of more seasons of something else. I think Game Winning Drive.
Okay.
And so I stocked up. I did. I stocked up on things I wouldn't normally buy. And one of the things I got was I got a CFL, Canadian Football League season for Game Winning Drive. I don't know much about the CFL, but I thought it'd be fun picking up on sale to play a few games. Mm-hmm. Game Winning Drive is a fun game. I haven't played it in a long time, but it's a fun game. It's like, I will get a CFL season. I also picked up an arena football season for Game Winning Drive.
The LA Kiss.
Yeah, that's the one that has the LA Kiss in it. And what was really neat is, and I'm happy they did this with Game Winning Drive, is they altered some of the rules and some of the results in the game because arena football and Canadian football are much different than NFL football. So I was happy to see that they had a little thing in this. Says, because this is different than this, you'll note that we've made some changes to the score sheet and to the point structure and the whole bit. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be kind of fun to do that. So I picked up some different things. I still might go back and pick up a couple more. I think I picked up the 85 NFL season 2 so I could play the Patriots and the Bears, or at least the Patriots run to the Super Bowl. And I like that because that's kind of a quick game, the Game Winning Drive.
Yes.
I can bang that out pretty quick. And there's not a lot of thinking to that game. There's no strategy really. So I do like that. So I started to stock up, and I picked up, like I say, Canadian football, arena football, a couple of NFL seasons I was on the fence on. I think I got 81 too. Was that Snow Bowl, a Freezer Bowl, and the
Freezer
catch,
Bowl.
And the catch.
Yeah.
So I picked up a couple of seasons there. And I do that with the Downey stuff, is they'll have a sale, and I'll go on boom, the 20% off, and I'll pick up a bunch of things. And I do the same with the Action PC games over the Dave Cook website. Is they'll have some big sales, and I'll grab a Decade, or I'll grab, I think I grabbed like the new basketball game. I haven't played it a lot, but I mean, boy, the price was just right, and it's like, how can you say no? And like you say, 20% off or whatever their sales are, you're not going to get any cheaper than that.
No, you're not.
So it's like, I'm going to grab these while they're on sale. Because, again, you never know. The thing is, Ron, you never know when you're going to get the itch to play something.
Well, exactly.
And you have to scratch it. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I see, like, I'm in a WHA mood right now. I don't know why. I don't know what triggered that, but I want to play some WHA right now. And so it's like, it's on sale. Let me get it. Let me get it now, and I can scratch that itch right now, because if I wait and it goes to full price, I'm going to be kicking myself. It's like, why didn't I buy this a few weeks ago when it was on sale?
You had the chance to get it for 30, and now it's 40 again or whatever.
So I did. I started to really kind of stock up here on the Downey stuff during the Easter sale, and I've done the same thing. I know when Strat had sales, I was picking up a ton of seasons for their hockey game, and most of those seasons I got were on sale, because I got a lot of them there, and I'm looking to go, holy cow, I have a lot of seasons. But I remember that they were all part of, most of them were part of a sale, maybe onesie twosies. I would pay full price for. And so I tend to stock up on a sale. As soon as they have another one, I'm going to grab some baseball seasons.
Yep.
I really am. And sometimes it's not a huge sale. Sometimes it's only a few bucks. But sometimes that few bucks is enough to push you in.
It's enough, you get thinking about what it is that you want. And some sales are great, and some 20% is a pretty good sale. It's like, okay. I feel it's worth it. And I think because first of all, what you picked up are PDF products, is that even if, you don't have to worry about whether it's compatible with the computer or future proof it or whatever, or whether you like the engine that's based on the computer, you have the game. And as long as you have access to some storage, you'll always have it. And so even if, this season was terrible. Why did I get this? I wanted, season A, B, and C. I'm never going to play season J. Well, you have season J. So if you're half asleep one night on the couch and you see some sort of highlight, look what they dug up. It's the New Jersey Generals and Birmingham Stallions. They're like, wow, I forgot that he played for Birmingham. Or wow, Doug Flutie. I have this.
Yep, I picked up a USFL season as well, and I think that was Game Winning Drive. Yeah. And that's the Flutie and the New Jersey Generals. It's funny you bring that up. That was another season I got. So I was stocking up on weird seasons in weird leagues.
One of those ideas that, if it's not something I'm going to do right away, which I think most purchases are, if you're going to spend 40, 50, 60 bucks on something, it's not to put away in the closet. It is to, I'm going to get something out of it right then and there. As opposed to, we'll see. So when you get a package deal like that, like, okay, you bought it to do the WHA because you're interested in maybe Gretzky with Indianapolis and Cheevers with Cleveland, or the Whalers in Boston. But, something else you might pop up. I was watching last night on YouTube, as a matter of fact, some videos of actual videotapes of the 1966 NBA playoffs popped up. And one of them was a Celtics-Laker game, the night that the Celtics won their 8th straight title. And in the studio, they were interviewing Sam Jones and Satch Sanders. And so normally you'd watch it for 5 or 10 minutes and go, boy, basketball was way different then. But to listen to them, to hear them just kind of bounce things off each other, to see what Havlicek did on that play, or like, oh yeah, Russ wasn't going to get denied there. Like, how the heck did I miss that? Like, you get that's how, like, oh, because it gets in the back of your head and go, I might want to do something with that. And so, yes, with that. So, for instance, a while ago, I picked up an Action PC basketball. I got the entire decade of the 60s. Again, there might be initially 1 or 2 seasons that I might be interested in, but if you buy them at regular price, it was the same as the 10 I bought.
It's a tough decision, because you have decades, and whether it's the Action PC or the Downey or anybody else,
right.
You get a decade set, and so you get there's obviously buying an individual season at regular price. It's $10, let's say. The decade price might be $80, so it's $8 a season. And then if you get it on sale, it might be $6 a season.
Oh, I think I bought for that decade. I think I paid $4 a season.
But what I'm getting at is when I was like hemming and hawing over what I was going to buy, it was, I could buy an individual season on sale for $8, but for $60 I could get the whole decade because it's a little cheaper. But I'm thinking, so where do I draw the line? It's like, do I really want to spend $60 on 10 seasons when I only want 3? But if I buy 3, if I would just to buy a couple of more, then I get the whole thing. So again, where do you draw the line with stocking up? It's like I want to stock up, but again, it's kind of like when you go to to BJ's Wholesale or Costco. It's like, boy, this mayonnaise. If I buy the 10-gallon tub of mayonnaise, it's going to be 50 cents a can. Whereas if I buy just the jar of it, it's going to be $3 a can. It's like, what do I do? Do I get the 10-gallon thing of mayonnaise? And that's kind of like you try to do all this math in your head. It's like
honey, you know you love coleslaw, right?
It's like how much? Yeah, it's like, how long is this going to take me to eat all this mayonnaise at this price? So that's kind of where I was. It was like, okay, I definitely want to play these 3 seasons. So this is gonna cost me this amount of money. If I just want to spend another $20 or $30, I get everything. So it's like, but am I going to play everything? But is it worth it? Am I going to kick myself for not getting everything right now? Should I just get the decade or not? And and we're not talking hundreds of dollars here, so it's not that. But I mean, you're talking the difference between you put something in your cart, you put say $25 in your cart. Well, for another $20, you get the whole caboodle. Well, now that's a $45 item. And that's only for one. And so what if I want to get something else?
I remember with the buying all the baseball seasons for Action PC. And it's like, okay, because their Black Friday sales, it used to be tiered. So if you did it between, let's say, 9 and noon Eastern, that you would get an extra discounted season. I mean, these are the ones I had to clear with a wife because they would be a couple $100 purchase. I think I picked up 1901 through 1949, having had already 6 or 7 of those seasons for $150. And so it came down to $3 a season. Am I ever going to play anything from 1902? No. But again, in one of those half asleep things, and something that we talked about, something that I will do as a one-off on the channel, some game from 1912 between the Tigers and the Philadelphia A's, where the Tigers pretty much had to get a bunch of scrubs together because Ty Cobb was suspended and the team quit.
Yeah, but that's the thing is if you have that season,
and exactly, it's like I would never have pulled out. Now I have it.
Yeah, and so and I remember we talked about that the other day, and you said I think I have that season, and so it's one of these things that just if you have it, maybe you make an excuse to go back and play that.
Yeah, I mean and it's something that I bought these seasons a long time ago, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. And just to have, because again, talked about that, or you get in a conversation, or do you remember when this happened, whatever it is, and boom, you can do it. And when it's, on sale like that, I think you're more tempted to do it because you are going to save some money. I know that when the season sales, do I really want, the seasons themselves weren't on sale. I think if you bought 5, you bought 4, you got the 5th free, was it? And so okay, I'm going to spend $96 on seasons. Oh, great.
Yeah.
She's gone to work, so I could talk about this now. But I got the 5th season free. Like, okay, yes, that makes it worth my while because
now it brings everything down to $20 a season, and
$20 a season. And again, you don't play them all at the same time, but I know what I want to do for projects, and I know, right in my wheelhouse, and then I don't have to worry about it again. And so the next time they have it on sale, like, oh, I saw this, or oh, I got talking about that, or oh, you bring up this. WHA really doesn't interest me, but it interests other people out there. And so yes, the big bulk deals, the Costco, Sam's Club, the whole thing with ASG Golf and buying all the decade sets at the one time, so if you buy them all individually together, it's $250, $300. They were offering it all for $198. We talked about the price point of it being worth it, but it's like, whether I do a project with Olin Dutra or not, I have him, and that's and so yes, and especially with PDFs, computers, they change, you lose stuff, or the game, the new version of the game, and yada yada yada. And I think the other thing that we're kind of used to now, because some games offer tremendous value from the get-go, is you buy certain games and all the seasons are there from the start. OOTP, Second and 10, Franchise Hockey Manager, they're all right there. You never have to buy them again. Mm-hmm. And so I think for the games that, we play maybe more often, it's like, well, why can't I have that? Well, because it's going to cost you some money to do it. So yeah, it took probably 3 years to do Dave's Christmas sale to get all the football seasons I wanted, all the basketball, yes.
Yeah, you're not going to do them all at once, but it is kind of neat when you're like, oh, I think I have that, because there was one time there was something I was doing on some game, and I was like, oh, I should go get that season. I was like, oh, wait a sec. I think I bought the decade. Well, it was on sale. It's like, oh, I do have that, so I don't have to go buy it, and now I can play. And you have it, But when I was doing my stocking up, I was like, okay, can I justify this? What kind of projects can I do with this? And I'm rattling through my head, it's like, okay, it's $8.95 minus 20%. What would I do with this? Okay, if I did this, would I get my, $7.10 worth out of this? Right. Yeah, I think I would. It's like, should I get the decade or should I just get a season? And there was some that I just got individual seasons, and there was some that I pulled the trigger on the decade and I stocked up. But I bought a lot of stuff, again, thinking in advance on projects, not so much thinking what I'm going to do this weekend.
Exactly.
But I've always been intrigued by the Canadian Football League, and at some point I want to pick up Cold Snap by Play.
Cold Snap looks, yes.
Because I really like to play second season football. I really like that. But I don't know enough about Canadian football, so I thought this might be a nice way to slide in some game-winning drive, just kind of learn a little bit about Canadian football. Then maybe I'll pick up the Cold Snap at some point there, and have a bigger game to play. But I was, like I said, I stocked up on things that I would probably not want to spend normal money on, normal prices, regular price. But the 20% off was enough to nudge me to pick up a bunch of things that I normally wouldn't buy or normally wouldn't play, so I get to try some new things out, see what I like. What I need to do is, because Easter's still a few days away, I need to go and play some of these and see if I like it.
If you like them, and then you can get more.
Yeah, so that's why I bought a bunch of stuff now, because I wanted to buy it and look at it and see what it was. And now it's like, oh, okay, I like this and I don't like that. So now I went back and I picked up a few more of this, and then in my head the products are swirling. Oh, so okay, I'll pick up this as well, and and so I'm really that's what I did. As I started. Okay, what products can I do in the future? Okay, this looks good. So I did. I started stocking up. Now, I remember one time you told me about a baseball game. I think you said you spent $100, but you get every season.
Roster card.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, again, it's like, well, I'm not going to play every season, but if I were to pick out 20 or 30 seasons and buy them individually, where would my price point be?
The same.
And so at that point there, is it better just to bite the bullet, get the whole caboodle. In fact, you have it.
I think I bought 20 seasons, and I think I paid $47. Played the game and realized that it's just one of the deals that Greg has. This wasn't a specific sale, but played a couple of the games and went, oh, I like this game an awful lot. And went to right around the time that I got paid for whatever, and okay, I'll do the lifetime special. And so I asked him, how much is it going to be? How much are you going to charge me? He says, just pay me the rest of whatever it was to get to the 100. So I got the other 80.
Oh, you see, that's great when they do that.
Yeah,
there was another company that did that. That if you bought a couple of things, if you wanted to round out the set, you just paid the difference. And I forget what company did that, but again, it was one of these things that they had a bulk thing. And if you're like, oh man, I already bought 3 of these, they're like, well, just whatever the difference is, pay me the difference, and I'll get. And that was really good when they did that.
That's great.
And I don't remember the
thing is, if you have a game engine that you really like, we'll just use the Action PC, for example. We touched on it earlier. You don't have to buy everything at once. I mean, yes, you can put the baseball collection, the football collection, the 4 sports collections in there, and you get an additional 20% off because it's over $100. But you don't need to spend the $500 all at once if you don't want to. But if you really like, let's say, me and Action PC baseball, yes, I have every season I would ever want. I have everything from 1901 forward, and maybe at some point I'll even get the 1899 Spiders. Again, just it's one of those, I know I'm not going to do A, B, and C, but why not? You have it, and you talked about scratching that itch. If you have the rum raisin in the freezer, and you go, why am I in the mood for rum raisin ice cream? But I have it, so I can scratch that itch, and we'll never speak of it again. That sort of thing. I wish, hint, 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 that companies such as Stratomatic would do the same thing, where you could buy a decade for $150 because eventually you don't need to do it all at once. You don't need to buy the wedding cake and the kid's 3rd birthday cake while you just got engaged, but on the other hand, just, you build them, and it's like, they're just there.
And part of it is, and we talked about this before, it not only is it MGD, but it's this is our hobby. This is what we do for fun. And some of the stuff, it's collectible. Even if it's PDF, it's collectible. And I was having fun the other night after I bought a couple of seasons. I think it was Ultra Quick Hockey, that I sat there in Photoshop, and I had YouTube on, and actually someone asked this in our Discord channel, one of the Patreons was asking, like, what do you guys do when you're playing games? And a lot of people said they have YouTube on, and that's what I did. I had YouTube on, and somebody was playing a game, and I was listening to somebody do the game as I'm in Photoshop, putting the logos on my PDFs, and I print them out so I can have the team logos on my PDFs. And it was like, that's part of my collection now, is I have these teams printed out, ready to go with logos and make them look nice. And I did the same with the game-winning drive. I went into some of the arena football stuff and the Canadian football, and I put the logos on there. And I didn't do that with the NFL, but the crazy leagues I did just for fun. I was like, I'm just going to drop a little logo in here and just enhance my thing, because this is my hobby. And we like to collect seasons and collect games, and that's part of it all here. And so I think that's part of stocking up too, is just having a collection of games.
I'll go through and read the cards, because if I get going too much, I'll have 9 or 10 different seasons in one game going at the same time, and that just is too confusing. But I'll go through and read the cards. When I bought the new Strat game, that was not on sale, but I got it right after it was released. And to sit there and look at, because I know the game quite well, and looked at Jacob deGrom's card.
Yep.
And went, oh my goodness. That is, and Al Red Sox fan did the same thing. He did the 68 Cardinals and 2021 Mets together, just looking at that card going, that is just, yeah. And so I think we all get something out of it, whether you play it immediately or not. And then you just know that you have it, because I have a friend of mine I went to school with, and she may or may not have had too much to drink before doing this, but okay, she did have too much to drink before doing this. And she went on to Amazon and somehow got 3 jumbo-sized boxes of cornflakes shipped to her, because it's Amazon and you could do it. And so I can't use the exact words that she said when she discovered this, but goodness gracious, Buffy St. Marie, what am I going to do with, 20 pounds of cornflakes? She baked a lot is what she did with it, because cornflakes go bad after a while. So at least with this, it doesn't going to go bad. But
what did you do with the GIMP mask that she gave you in that order?
The GIMP mask?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about that on the air. I'm sorry.
We didn't talk about that on the air. it's with the body painting supplies that you sent me a while ago.
That's that new channel on Twitch you're going to start. You and the Gip mask and the body paint. Yep.
It's the Ode to Aunt Becky channel.
And the Pickle Rick, the inflatable Pickle Rick.
Yeah. Where was I going with that? And, we've all made those purchases that we regret, was the point I was trying to make. Like, oh, yeah. And so if you stock up that way, you're less likely to go through and go, wow. Then the next morning, you watch that video again because it's in your YouTube history and going, I spent $40 on that season because I thought that was the best run ever. It was just a 7-yard draw up the middle.
Yeah.
But if you buy on sale, if you buy as part of a bulk package, then, okay, I already have it.
But the other thing is, too, is if you have these seasons, you can go back and visit them. And you never know. Like I say, I didn't know I'd be heavy into 1899 baseball. I didn't know. So I don't know what kind of doors that's going to open. Maybe I'd want to start playing some more baseball, turn of the century stuff.
Like that era, then, between that and 1920 is a whole different.
Yeah, it might be kind of. But, so I have some, so if I were to get like the whole set or a whole decade or something. And we talked about the Calico replays, where now I can play. Okay, so
different engines.
So
to play
I now can play 75 baseball with Pocket Pennant Run, History Maker baseball, Strat PC baseball, Spring Coming from Roberto Schiavini, Ultra Quick baseball, and I don't have it in APA yet. Action PC. So if I wanted to, I could replay the 75 World Series in like 6 different engines.
Oh, yeah. I've 78. Now 13 different engines.
So again, think about that. So if you stock up and you get, some seasons that maybe I don't know if I want to play them. Well, now if you're like, hey, I just did this in this game. I bought the decade, so I can go back and play it again over here and see what my results are going to be. So there's another thing to consider, that you might not think of it now, but maybe later you'd be like, hey, it'd be a fun product is this, that, and the other thing. And the other thing with grabbing decades is when I grabbed the 1800s for Ultra Quick Baseball, they had the normalization ratings. Oh, and by the way, I sent Jeff Downey an email because I had a couple questions on ratings. And he got right back to me, and
nice.
Yeah, and he says I was correct on one. There was I think there was a misprint in one of the rules, but the other one about the goaltender rating, he said that was correct, and he explained why. So I was like, oh, that was cool that he explained that. Yeah.
Wow.
And so where I was going with that is, so I grabbed the 1876 to 1899, I think it was the 1800s that I got.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was some teams as bad as the Spiders, the Philadelphia Alleghenies, and there was a couple of other teams that had 18-19 wins. So I found 4 teams that I can have a best of the worst of the 1800s baseball and play around. Where if I just got 1899, I couldn't do that. But since I bought the set, I can now take 4 teams from that era there and have a best of the worst. And so having those seasons there allows me to do that. So when I stocked up, it allowed me to do a project like that. Whereas if I just got the one season, that's a project I couldn't do.
So we've now justified you going to Costco and buying the 55 blueberry muffins. It's not good for your waistline, but you'll be a happier person after, right?
Yeah, we just a side note. We used to do that, go to the Costco's or the BJ's or whatever they were, and we would, spend this is years ago. We would spend $200-$300, come out with a carload of stuff, right? Buckets of ketchup, and then we found ourselves a few days later going to do our regular food shop.
Yeah.
Because we bought all the stuff in bulk, so great. We didn't need ketchup or salad dressing, but we still needed our week-to-week stuff.
Yeah.
And I found man, I don't think we're really saving anything here.
No, I think that's,
I mean, you have to. I mean, you have to because you're buying a bunch of stuff in bulk. So in theory, you're not buying that stuff for a long time. But I found that that just tacked onto our food bill because we would go buy our normal stuff too.
We've Sarah and I have talked about it a few times, and it's like, no, because every time you go, it's $300 regardless of what you do. just because, oh, look.
Yeah, and you're still buying your regular stuff during the week,
Right.
too, you know? Now, granted, you know, you probably, like I said, you must save in the long run somehow, but for the life of me, I'm like, man, short term, we're not really saving anything.
We don't need 5 gallons of ketchup. It's just 2 of us. You know?
I know, right?
They give it to you every time you get a burger someplace out, you know. So
got the little ketchup packets everywhere.
that's right. Where are those in the fridge? Right behind the soy sauce packet. So okay.
How long have I been in there? I don't know. Just have it. So anyway, yeah. So how do you guys handle it when there's a sale? Do you guys stock up on a sale? I mean, do you do what I did? Is put them in the cart, try to justify it, put it in the cart, take it out of the cart 10 times, you know, and you look at the total and you're like, oh, do I really want to spend that? But then you're like, well, look at everything I'm going to get for that, and it's on sale. Plus, if I get the Decade or if I get the bulk packaging, it's going to be, you know, it'll never be this cheap again if I wanted to play this.
Right.
Although the drawback is I'm buying a lot of seasons that I may never play. So
yeah, but you know, sometimes the purple popsicles taste good on a cold day.
yeah. So we want to know, do you guys on a sale? Do you guys stock up on a sale? How do you guys handle that? Or do you just buy what you need or what you like? Do you try different games or different seasons like I did, or you know, a different league or things like that? Something out of the ordinary, or maybe a brand new game. You know, because I was looking at picking up a couple of new Downey games as well on there. I haven't yet, but you know, at 20% off, it might be something I might want to try. You know, so anyway. So that is that. All right, before we sign off, we need to get to our
3 stars.
3 stars.
3 stars.
Yeah. So it's, again, thanks to all of our Patreons who are helping keep the show going. And so without no particular order, our 3 stars of the week. Number 3 star is Gary Blackman.
Woohoo!
All right. Gary, thank you so much for supporting the show. Our number 2 star of the week here on episode 131 is Steve Kaplan.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And again, if you guys are not in Discord, let us know. We if you're the
I think we got everybody.
if you're for the $5 club member, you get in our Discord, and we have all kinds of good chats going on with that. And the number 1 star of the week,
Turbocharged Paul.
Turbocharged. Thank you so much for being a Patreon here on the show. And those are our 3 stars of the week in no particular order.
There we go.
All righty, so we close it out.
Let's close it out.
All righty. By the numbers, episode 131 of the Digital to Dice podcast. Recorded this on April 13th. A mild April 13th over here, but in some parts of the country are getting nailed with snow.
It's not where it is. I can smell the rain in here now. So
yeah. So anyway, ways to get a hold of us. Our website, digitaltodice.com. The text line, 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. The email, digitaltodice@yahoo.com. Facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And again, if you'd like to help us out on Patreon, we are Digital to Dice over on patreon.com. Ron, thanks for joining me today.
As always.
What are you going to be playing tonight?
Not sure yet.
Way to end the show on a high note.
Bye-bye.